Carolina had ever heard of this 38-year-old head coach with a quirky first name, a man who had never even been a coordinator for a football team before. Just 7 years earlier, he was out of football and working as a shopping center leasing agent in Birmingham, Alabama, talking traffic patterns and demographics and anchor stores with potential customers. Then, Tommy Bowden hired him to coach the wide receivers at Clemson in 2003, and now, improbably, he was elevated to interim head coach when Bowden stepped down after a humbling 12-7 loss to Wake Forest. How rare was it for a position coach to become an interim head coach and then ascend to permanent head coach? Think of Halley's Comet streaking across the heavens, about once every 75 years. Oh my God, thought Swinney in his hotel room on the eve of his first game. I'm going to have to run down that hill in front of 85,000 people and a bunch of people with TV cameras tomorrow. Yes, ready or not, Swinney's moment of reckoning on that hill was coming. Dabo Swinney had been named interim head coach 6 days earlier on October 13, 2008, and he wanted his players to experience the intoxicating thrill of game day even before they reached the stadium. When he was an assistant, Dabo spent many Saturday mornings before kickoff meeting with recruits in a building away from the stadium. Once these meet and greets were over, he'd stroll through the parking lots, chock-a-block with orange-clad fans tailgating from pop-up tents and cars and pickup trucks with Clemson flags sprouting from the flatbeds. Underneath the tents, emblazoned with tiger paws, fans grilled burgers and wings, tossed footballs and frisbees, and sipped adult beverages. The atmosphere was electric. The sights, the smells, and the sounds overwhelmed Dabo's senses, and that always jolted the assistant coach, spreading a pinch-me smile across his face, filling him with the belief that he was the luckiest dadgum man alive, one who had the best job in America, surrounded every autumn Saturday by the pomp and pageantry and poetry of college football. Now, Dabo was determined to have his players really feel, deep down, the full-body shiver of emotions that he always enjoyed during these pregame walks through the parking lots. So, after becoming interim head coach, Dabo called a meeting in his office with the state troopers who escorted the team buses from the football facility to the stadium on game days. Under Bowden and every other Clemson coach, the buses that ferried the players to the stadium had avoided traffic by taking a circuitous route using rural roads. But Dabo was adamant. He wanted the buses to drive through the middle of campus, through the beating heart of the tailgating fans, so his players could understand how the game was so important to so many. The team had often played lifeless, listless football through the first half of the 2008 season. A who really cares attitude had infected the roster and was a major reason why Bowden was no longer the head coach. And Dabo wanted his players to experience the heat of the fans' passion, to let it wash over them, and, he hoped, inspire them to play the game of their lives. At first, the state troopers and others in the administration balked at the suggestion, explaining to Dabo that rerouting the buses would create a traffic nightmare. The young interim head coach, who eventually spread out a map on his desk and kept pointing at the campus roads he wanted the buses to travel on, stood his ground. "Y'all are not listening to me," Dabo said. "You want to win this game? We are not going that way. I need these guys to see the whole pageantry of Clemson." There was more. Dabo told the bus drivers to park a few hundred yards away from the entrance of the locker room. For years, the buses had simply pulled up to the door and the players, outfitted in sweatsuits or whatever casual apparel they felt like wearing, most also with headphones on, simply strolled inside, unbothered and unseen by fans. No longer, said Dabo. This was his regime. The buses would stop at Lot 5 on Perimeter Road, and the players would walk 200 yards through a cluster of screaming, high-fiving fans, providing the shot of adrenaline the entire program needed. What was more, Dabo mandated that his players wear a coat and tie. He also banned headphones. Because his players needed to absorb the rush of sensory overload he had enjoyed on his game day walks across the lots. Dabo instituted these rules to underscore to